What's up guys, Daniel, VintageMagic.com. Hope you guys are having a good week. So today's video is going to be kind of, you guys have to follow me on this video. It's kind of like one of those parallel videos. I want to talk about customer service and especially like the recent events of the United Airlines flight situation where there was a gentleman who got dragged off an airplane because United Airlines apparently overbooked the flight. And I don't know if you guys have experienced overbooking, but basically what that means is an airline books more flights than necessary, so it can essentially, it has a system where it calculates potential people canceling the flight. So therefore, in the airline business, by having the flights filled, more capacity filled, the higher weight load, and they basically have a more efficient, sale per travel. If the flight is very empty and there's not a lot of people, or there's not enough freight to balance it out, they lose money. So that's the reason why they oversold flights. But if you think about it from the position of as a customer, you bought the flight, you think you're just gonna go to your destination, but really you can get kicked off at any time. So this situation is all over YouTube, it's all over the internet. If you guys just Google United flight kicked off on YouTube, you'll see this man get dragged literally off the plane. He's actually a doctor who was trying to get back. Apparently he couldn't miss his appointments the next day. He was offered with his wife a ticket to basically get a voucher. You get like this $800 voucher if you volunteer essentially, and they said that's fine, but they realized that there wouldn't be another flight until the next day at a certain time, and unfortunately he had to he had to get back to his destination. So this is a crazy situation, and I know you guys are probably puzzled like, damn, or you're probably hitting unsubscribe, you don't really give a crap what I'm saying, but I want you to follow me here about this and magic. So this brought up an interesting point of just pure customer service and public relations of what United Airlines did. United Airlines, the CEO, basically puts out his initial email saying, well, this is the process that we have to follow. He's sorry that people had to get reaccommodated. I mean, that's it. There was just really no sincere like, hey, we basically fucked up, essentially, right? But no, that's basically what the corporate BS, essentially what they wrote. So, in life, in customer service and business, you're gonna find mistakes with clients and vendors that you work with. Things will happen, right? But it's the way you, recover from those mistakes and how you make give the customer a better experience in the future. So one example I can give you in Magic, where it was an awful situation, was a local LGS in my area promised me eternal. I'm not going to name the LGS, by the way, but I think if the LGS is watching, they'll figure it out. They basically promised me when Eternal Masters first came out, I think it was like 3 cases at like $180 a case or something, and we handshake the deal. I said I would pay them the money. And I was ready to pay them. And then, as you guys know, Eternal Masters went up to like $250 a box or some ridiculous amount. And the guy called me and said, hey, I'm not going to be able to sell you these because, I'm a small store. I got to make some money. And then he also went off and, lied at first and said that his allocation from Wizards was less, but that's a lie because he just wanted to make more money. Because after the fact, he told me that. He told me that he wanted to be truthful. The reason why he didn't want to sell me the boxes was the 3 cases was he would lose too much money or opportunity of money. Now, let's be honest. He's not losing money because he's only getting the boxes for like $140 or whatever per box, but he wanted to make more money. And that's greed. And hey, greed is good. I guess in business, you got to make money. You got to pay for your family. But the point is, if you make a deal in business, you have to honor that deal. And this particular deal, I didn't pay the money yet. I did a handshake. I basically agreed to it, and he basically agreed to that deal. But we know money was exchanged. So after Eternal Masters comes out, he felt bad about the whole thing. He finally gives me one case. One case. He recovers that way. One case. At the price. $180 a case. That's like 4 times 180. And then I paid for it. I was still upset. I said, you know, the right thing to do should have been all 3 cases that you promised me. And to this day, I no longer go to the LGS. I no longer recommend the LGS to anybody. And I have obviously a sour taste in my mouth. I did not slander this person online. I'm saying this, with confidentiality, but I can tell you a local LGS in my area basically did this to me. So I want you guys to be clear about, a couple of things with these United Airlines and in the case of this person. When this all happens, like when something happens that is troubling, like either it could be a shipping error, a shipping mistake, whatever. It could be a damaged product. It could be a mix up and mixing the products up. Happens all the time, right? Things do happen. It's the way you communicate to your customer. It's the way and what you offer them. And I'll have to be honest, also customers need to be reasonable. If you're not going to give the sellers an opportunity to recover from the errors that they made and just blow up on them, there's no winning over. There's no way you can ever fix that error, right? And that's really unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But you have to understand, as a business, we've done things that are, I would say, that are pretty normal errors that are very basic, that I've always offered either free shipping the next order and also 10% off your order next time. It's just something to say, hey, look, we're sorry about this. And we even offer free shipping to the order that they purchased because of that error, if it's serious enough. Or even give them a discount of the product of what they purchased, or even let them keep the product if we made that big of an error. But luckily there hasn't been that big of an error that we've had to do that many times. But that's the thing, is things do happen. Now, another situation that I'll tell you guys about is also with artists. I'm not going to name artists' names in this video. I'm going to keep it very professional. But I think the artists who watch this video and can kind of figure it all out, and people can figure it out, is that if you are a person dealing with artists directly and you are buying things from the artist, you should expect great communication. You should expect professional responses, great service, not feeling like you're an idiot to ask, where's the status of my order? See, that's the problem with some of the artists in the community. Some of them are, I'll tell you right off the bat, they're great artists, but their business acumen is very low. And so what happens is you lose the lines of communication with your clients. Thus, you give the customer a sour taste. They don't do business with you, and shit hits the fan. Now, some of these artists, obviously have very large deadlines. They book themselves with too much work. Some of these artists know how to recover. Some of these artists give either additional artist proofs, additional artwork, additional signings, whatever it takes to essentially make it right for the customer. Other artists would just basically say, well, I'm sorry, I was busy. And the worst experience is when the artist gives you your work maybe months, weeks, years later down the road. And all they say to you, and what they do is they give you el crapo product after the fact, and you'll be like, well, I'm sorry, I was just busy. After years of waiting. That's a horrible experience, right? So the point is, as a buyer to these artists and as a buyer to other vendors, you as a buyer have the right not to do business with any company, United Airlines, MTG artists, vendors, anybody, that individuals that you do not feel that have great business customer service, because you as the buyer have the right to choose. And that's the kind of the meaning of this video. The purpose of the video is I want you guys to start choosing the right vendors, the right buyers too, right? The people that you're dealing with, trading with. I don't want you guys to just think that you're forced to deal with someone just because they're a big fish like United Airlines. You don't have to use United Airlines. Now, it might be that United Airlines is probably a really convenient airline for your area, but you have choices. There's lots of airlines. And if you think about it, for magic, there are lots of magic companies and lots of magic artists. Unfortunately, for certain things, there's niche markets like magic artists. There's only one artist out there, right? There's specific products. One option you can choose is to use a broker, an agent. There's some really reputable online brokers online who work with many different artists who combine a lot of the services together and they can ship the products out. If you have questions on that, you can message me below and I can give you referrals. But I can tell you right off the bat, I've done that before. I've handled many different alters, signings, different like that. And we do offer that service on our website on thevintagemagic.com and the artist representation service. But right now we've scaled back over the course of years because when you work with artists, you have to make sure that the artist is willing to do the work on time or your reputation will be on the line. Let me say that again. As a broker, if your artist does not do the work that they say they're going to do, you as a dealer, as a person, get slammed. So be very careful that if you're going to become a broker, if you think you're going to be a broker or a kind of a middleman between some of these people, you have to make sure that the artists are committed to doing your work. So that is an option for the buyer. You can go to a broker and you can basically pay a little bit more, but you have a better opportunity to get all your products done at once, shipped at once also. Sounds great in theory, but again, the vendor, the artist needs to get the job done right. So this video is also going to highlight for the vendors. I've had situations where buyers back out of deals, and I'm not going to name the names. I'll just say it for the record. There are buyers out there who have balked out of deals, and they think that it's right. And as a vendor, I'm going to tell you, and I think speaking for all vendors, is that in an old-fashioned business sense, if you shake on a deal and you agree to a deal, you own up to the deal. It doesn't matter if the price goes up 10 times. If you had a contract for 2 years, the deal is a deal. That's your word. I mean, that's one of the things I learned at a very young age. My first business, my business partner told me that, is that in one thing in life, in business and in life, you have to own up to your word. You have to be honorable to your word. And that's one thing I'll leave with you guys as a vendor. If you have clients who break their word all the time, you have the right to block them from bidding on your eBay auctions, refuse business sales. It's like going, when you go to a restaurant and the person that orders always bitches or damages your product or causes commotions or always drunk. You have the right to not serve them, right? And I, as a vendor, have the right. I have blacklisted certain clients because they have broken their word, contracts, deals we have made. Now, there's no justification to that. I'm going to tell you right off the bat. If it was flipped on the other side and the vendor did that, we would get slammed. My God, if there was like a Yelp for Magic the Gathering, companies would get slammed for breaking deals, right? Oh, right, that's right. If they cancel pre-orders, they would get slammed. But buyers don't get slammed. See, that's the problem with this whole situation, is that the buyers think they can just cancel deals on dealers, and they don't take any repercussions behind it. Unfortunately, what they're missing out here is that eventually will come to bite them. That's a business kind of thing to note. Is a saying that if it doesn't happen one time to them, it's going to happen again. It's going to come back and bite them like a snake. It truly will. So that's talking from the vendor side. Is that if you vendors have clients, and I'm not just about store owners or whatever. I'm talking about people that are doing trades, whatever. I'm talking about people that are doing trades. I had a guy the other day, won't say names, who told me that he waited for a guy hours, a few hours or whatever, to get a trade done, that he thought the deal was locked. And the guy wasted his time, kept shopping around, became elusive. This is the problem. This is the problem with the magic industry and negotiations, is that you really don't know who to trust. And the fact is, you have to be aware of warning signs. That definitely is a video I will discuss more often later down the road, but I want you guys to be aware that, have you guys ever been shafted because people say they're gonna do something in a trade or a deal, whatever, and they just cancel it out? Now, do you have the right to never do business with that person again? Absolutely. And do you have the right to tell other dealers and such, other clients, that person was not trustworthy? Absolutely. If you feel like, like screwed over, you have the right to say something. Now, beware, if you're a company, you cannot reveal client information of deals. And I'm being very clear here that I'm not revealing names. I'm just telling you right off the bat that I've had many experiences from artists, clients, vendors, whatever, all over the map. And you need to realize that those people know who they are. So, hey guys, it's Daniel with VintageMagic.com. I know it's a little weird talking about United Airlines, and then you have Magic just gathering customer service and owning up to your word. But the summary of all this is that, in this life, as a businessman and as a man, as a person, you have to own up to your word. If you pay too much, but you made a deal, you have to pay for it. If you, made a deal, shook your hand on it, said it, don't just write it, but said it over the phone or something, that is a deal. That is a deal. You can mess around and say, well, I misheard you, but if it's a deal and you say, hey, do we have a deal? You agree? You have a deal. All right, guys, talk soon. Leave some comments below. Take care.